Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be riding Time Warp in the Redwood Forest of Rotorua, which is the only way that I know of to get to the start of Split Ends and Furter, the latter being one of the trails ridden during the 2017 Enduro World Series. However, given the non-technical nature of this climb trail, and that the name of the trail is Time Warp, I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to give you some background on who Trail POV is, along with why I started this channel. My biking interest really started around 25 years ago when my family moved to Canada and embarked on a trip across the country from Toronto to Vancouver on bicycles. I was only 8 at the time and only remember doing short rides prior to this, so doing 60 plus kilometers each day was a bit of a jump to say the least. However, I only have positive memories of this trip that lasted 2 months and took us through tons of towns, both big and small, along with some very quintessentially Canadian landscapes. Fast forward a few years and I got my first mountain bike while I was living at the base of Mount Seymour in North Vancouver. I would ride this mountain sometimes several times a week and started getting into cross-country racing, most notably competing in the Test of Metal in Squamish, BC a few times. Nothing serious, but enough to give me the adrenaline bug, which led me to downhill and spending more time hurtling down the mountain than riding back up. One of my favorites at the time being Ned's Atomic Dustbin on Mount Seymour. However, life had other plans, and a few years after graduating from engineering, a life-altering event led me to stop biking for several years. What finally got me back into it was having both bikes stolen and having to purchase a new mountain bike. What better way to convince me to get back into biking than a new bike? Around the same time, I also happened to start volunteering at the largest cyclocross event in Canada that happens every year at Vanier Park in Vancouver. A good friend of mine who races for Trek Red Truck eventually convinced me I needed to get a cross bike for myself, and so I jumped into the awesome world of CX racing. This bike also happens to double perfectly as a commuter after swapping the tires, which only helped to further immerse myself in the biking culture and biking everywhere in the city. The more I rode, the more I craved new trails in new areas, and thus Trail POV was started. The whole point of this channel is to provide POV footage of as many trails as possible. By providing a guide down various trails, I hope to convince others to go down these trails without being concerned that they're going to get lost or that they don't have the skills to go down them. Over the coming months and years, I hope to create POV videos of mountain biking, gravel biking, hiking and skiing trails, and even possibly various unique road rides. I'm super stoked and hope that through this I can inspire others to go explore and push themselves. I hope you'll join me on this journey. Happy trails!
There it is, the beacon I'm heading for. Look at that view. is the end of Time Warp. We will soon be dropping into Split Ends.
If you liked what you saw and want to support the channel, make sure to subscribe by hitting the blue Trail POV logo. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions of trails to ride next, make sure to leave them in the comments down below.